The conference room door clicked shut behind me. My boss, Richard Chun, sat at the head of the table. His face had gone completely pale. His hands gripped the edge of the desk, so hard his knuckles turned white. Maya, he said quietly, I need you to sit down. Right now. My heart stopped. This was supposed to be my promotion interview. The position I'd worked toward for 3 years. Senior marketing director. My dream job. Instead, Richard looked like he'd seen a ghost. There's a serious problem, he continued. Someone came to this office 2 hours ago. She sat in this exact chair. She told me she was you. She said things that could have destroyed your career. I felt the room tilt. My voice came out as a whisper. What did she look like? Richard pulled out his phone and showed me security footage. There on the screen was my face. My exact face. Same haircut. Same style of clothes. But it wasn't me. It was Emma. My identical twin sister. The sister who'd spent our entire lives trying to steal everything I had. But what Emma didn't know was that Richard and I went to college together. We were roommates sophomore year. He knew me better than anyone. And he knew exactly what my twin sister had just tried to do. My name is Maya Torres. I'm 32 years old. And until this morning, I thought I'd finally escaped my twin sister's shadow. I live in Seattle. I work at Patterson Marketing, one of the top firms in the Pacific Northwest. For the past 3 years, I've poured everything into my career. Emma is my identical twin. We share the same dark brown hair, the same green eyes, the same small scar above our left eyebrow from falling off a bike when we were 7. To strangers, we're impossible to tell apart. But that's where the similarities end. Growing up, Emma always wanted what I had. If I got a toy, she'd break hers so Mom would buy her the same one. If I made a friend, she'd befriend them too, then turn them against me. When I got my first boyfriend in high school, she kissed him at a party just to prove she could. Our parents always said we needed to share everything. They never saw how Emma twisted that into taking everything. After college, I moved to Seattle to start fresh. Emma stayed in Portland with our parents. For 5 years, we barely spoke. Just birthday texts and forced holiday dinners. I thought I was finally free. I was wrong. 3 weeks ago, Emma showed up at my apartment unannounced. She was crying, her mascara running down her face. She said she'd lost her job. Her boyfriend had left her. She needed a place to stay for a few days. I hesitated. Every instinct screamed not to let her in. But she was my sister. My twin. The person who shared my DNA and my childhood memories. I opened the door. Just a few days, I said. Until you get back on your feet. Emma hugged me tight. Thank you, Maya. I promise I won't be any trouble. She stayed in my guest room. During the day while I was at work, she said she was job hunting. She seemed different. Calmer. More mature. Maybe people really could change. I told her about my upcoming promotion interview. How I'd been working toward this for years. How Richard Chun, my boss, was finally going to recommend me for senior marketing director. Emma listened with wide, interested eyes. That's amazing, she said. You deserve it. I even mentioned that Richard and I went to college together. That we'd been close friends before he became my boss. I thought I was sharing good news with my sister. I was giving her ammunition. The morning of my interview, I woke up feeling strange. My head was foggy. My mouth was dry. I stumbled to the bathroom and splashed water on my face. In the mirror, I looked terrible. Dark circles under my eyes. Skin pale and clammy. I'd felt fine when I went to bed. What happened? Then I saw the empty wine glass on my nightstand. Emma and I had shared a bottle last night to celebrate my interview. She'd poured the last glass for me. My stomach dropped. I rushed to the kitchen. Emma's bedroom door was open. Her bed was made. Her suitcase was gone. On the counter was a note in her handwriting. Thanks for everything. Good luck today. I checked the time. 8:30. My interview was at 9. The office was 20 minutes away. I threw on my interview clothes. A navy blue suit I'd picked out weeks ago. Professional but not stuffy. Perfect for impressing the senior partners. But when I opened my closet, the suit was gone. My hand started shaking. I tore through my entire wardrobe. It wasn't there. Emma had taken it. I wore a different suit. Not as nice, but professional enough. I raced to my car. My phone buzzed with a text from Richard, running a few minutes behind. Interview moved to 9:30. Relief flooded through me. I still had time. Traffic was light. I made it to the Patterson building with 10 minutes to spare. I took the elevator to the 7th floor, practicing my answers in my head. The receptionist, Kelly, looked up when I walked in. Her expression was odd. Confused. Maya, she said slowly. Didn't you just leave? My blood turned to ice. What? You were here earlier. About an hour ago. You said you needed to reschedule your interview for this afternoon. No. No. Kelly, that wasn't me. She blinked. But it looked exactly like you. Same hair, same suit. She even knew about your interview time. I grabbed the edge of her desk. Where's Richard? I need to see him right now. Kelly picked up the phone, but before she could dial, Richard's door opened. He stepped out, his face serious. Maya, come in. I followed him into his office. The door clicked shut. That's when he told me what Emma had done. Richard gestured to the chair across from his desk. I sat, my whole body numb. 2 hours ago, he began, a woman came to this office. She looked exactly like you. She said she was Maya Torres. She had an ID with your name on it. My hands clenched in my lap. What did she say? Richard's jaw tightened. She told me she wanted to withdraw from consideration for the promotion. She said she'd been lying on her resume, that her college degree was fake, that she'd been stealing company resources for personal projects. The room spun. Those were career-ending accusations. If Richard had believed them, I'd be fired, not promoted. She also said, Richard continued, his voice harder now, that you and I had an inappropriate relationship in college, that you were only getting this promotion because we used to sleep together. Rage exploded in my chest. That's insane. We were roommates. You're gay. We used to watch RuPaul's Drag Race together and rate the contestants. Richard's expression softened slightly. I know, Maya. That's how I knew something was very wrong. He pulled up the security footage on his computer and turned the screen toward me. There was Emma, sitting in this same chair, wearing my navy suit. I watched the footage, my heart pounding. Emma's performance was perfect. She had my mannerisms down. The way I tucked my hair behind my ear when I was nervous, the way I sat with my hands folded. But Richard had known immediately something was off. She didn't know about the time we drove to Vancouver at 2 a.m. because you'd never seen the ocean, he said. She didn't know about your goldfish, Professor Bubbles, who died during finals week and made you cry for 3 days. Despite everything, I almost smiled. Professor Bubbles had been a good fish. She also, Richard continued, didn't know that I proposed to Marcus last month. You were the first person I told. You helped me pick the ring. My throat tightened. Congratulations again. He's perfect for you. Richard leaned back in his chair. I knew within 30 seconds that woman wasn't you. But I let her talk. I recorded everything. And then I called security. He clicked another file. New footage showed Emma leaving the building. She looked smug, satisfied, like she'd just won the lottery. I had her followed, Richard said quietly. Do you know where she went? I shook my head. Your apartment. The security guard tracked Emma to my building. She'd gone inside using my key. She'd packed her things. Then she'd driven away in a rental car headed south toward Portland. She thought she'd destroyed me. She thought by the time I showed up for my interview, Richard would call security and have me removed. She had no idea Richard and I had history. Real history. The kind built on late-night talks and shared struggles and genuine friendship. I need to know, Richard said carefully. That woman was your twin sister, wasn't she? I nodded, unable to speak. Maya, I'm so sorry. His voice was gentle. But I need you to tell me everything. The partners need to hear this directly from you. He explained that the senior partners had been informed of the incident. They wanted to meet with me immediately. My stomach twisted. Are they going to fire me? No, Richard said firmly. But they need to understand what happened. And we need to make sure your sister can't do this again. He stood and walked to the door. They're waiting in the main conference room. I'll be there with you. I followed him down the hallway, my legs shaking. This was supposed to be my promotion interview. Instead, I had to explain why my twin sister had committed identity fraud. The conference room held 4 people. Margaret Patterson, the founder, David Wu, head of operations, Sarah Kim, chief legal counsel, and Richard. Margaret gestured to a seat. Miss Torres, please sit. I sat. My hands were trembling so badly I had to clasp them in my lap. We've reviewed the security footage, Margaret began. Her voice was neutral, professional. Richard has explained his history with you. We need to hear your side. I took a deep breath. Then I told them everything. I told them about growing up with Emma, how she'd always been competitive, how she'd sabotaged relationships and friendships, how I'd moved to Seattle to escape her. I told them about her showing up 3 weeks ago, how I'd let her stay, how I'd mentioned the interview. I was stupid, I said, my voice breaking. I trusted her. I thought she'd changed. Sarah Kim, the lawyer, leaned forward. Did you give her any company information? Access to your work files? No, never. She stayed in my apartment, but I never brought work home. My laptop is password protected. David Wu spoke next. Did she have access to your ID? Your credentials? I thought back. She could have photographed my driver's license while I was asleep, or ordered a fake one online. Margaret folded her hands on the table. Miss Torres, this is an unusual situation. Identity theft by a family member complicates matters. My heart sank. I understand if you need to rescind the promotion offer. Rescind? Margaret raised an eyebrow. Who said anything about rescinding? I blinked. I what? Richard smiled slightly. Maya, you're not in trouble. Your sister is. Sarah Kim opened a folder. We've already filed a police report for identity fraud and impersonation. The footage clearly shows someone falsely representing themselves as you with intent to damage your employment. We're also, David added, implementing new security protocols. All promotion interviews will now require biometric verification. Margaret stood and walked around the table. She stopped in front of me. Ms. Torres, in the 3 years you've worked here, you've exceeded every expectation. Your campaigns have brought in millions in revenue. Your team loves working with you. Richard speaks highly of your integrity and creativity. She paused. One malicious act by a family member doesn't erase 3 years of excellence. My throat was so tight I could barely breathe. The promotion is yours, Margaret said. If you still want it. Tears spilled down my cheeks. Yes. Yes, I want it. Good. We'll make the announcement tomorrow. Today, go home. Rest. We'll handle your sister. I left the Patterson building in a daze. The promotion was mine. Despite everything Emma had tried to do, I'd won. But the victory felt hollow. My own sister had tried to destroy my career. She'd drugged my wine to make sure I'd oversleep. She'd stolen my clothes. She'd impersonated me with the intent to ruin everything I'd worked for. And she'd almost succeeded. I drove home slowly, my mind racing. Emma thought she'd won. She was probably in Portland right now, celebrating. Waiting for me to call, crying about losing my job. But I wasn't going to call her. Not yet. I had other plans. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Hope your interview went well, sis. Sorry I had to leave so early. Call me when you get the bad news. Emma. She'd gotten a burner phone. I stared at the message. Rage built in my chest, hot and fierce. She wanted bad news. I'd give her bad news. Just not the kind she expected. I pulled into my apartment complex and sat in the car. I needed to think. To plan. Emma had played dirty. It was time to show her what happened when you messed with the wrong twin. Inside my apartment, I checked every room. Emma had taken some of my clothes, my good jewelry, and $200 in cash I'd kept in my desk drawer. I made a list of everything missing. Then I called the police non-emergency line. An officer arrived within an hour. I showed him the security footage Richard had sent me. I explained the situation. Your sister drugged you? The officer, whose badge read Martinez, looked serious. I think so. I felt fine before drinking the wine she poured. This morning I could barely function. Do you still have the wine glass? I'd washed it before leaving. Stupid. No, I'm sorry. Officer Martinez made notes. The identity fraud is clear. The theft is clear. We can issue a warrant, but if she's in Portland, we'll need to coordinate with Oregon police. Do whatever you need to do, I said. I want her arrested. After he left, I sat on my couch and cried. Not sad tears, angry tears, betrayed tears. My phone rang. My mother. Maya, honey, Emma just called. She said she stayed with you and you two had a wonderful time. Isn't that nice? I closed my eyes. Of course Emma had called them, building her alibi. Mom, did Emma tell you anything else? My mother's voice was cheerful. She said you helped her with some job applications. She sounded so positive. I'm glad you girls are getting along again. I wanted to scream. Instead, I kept my voice calm. Mom, Emma did something. Something really bad. What do you mean? I explained everything. The drugged wine, the stolen clothes, the fake interview, the identity fraud. Silence on the other end. Then, Maya, are you sure? That doesn't sound like Emma. My hands clenched. Mom, I have video footage. The police are involved. This is real. Well, maybe there's been a misunderstanding. You know how you girls used to play twin swap games as children? Maybe she thought. This wasn't a game. My voice rose. She tried to get me fired. My mother sighed. Don't be so dramatic. I'm sure Emma didn't mean any harm. You probably just need to talk to her. I hung up. I couldn't listen to any more excuses. This was why Emma had gotten away with everything our whole lives. Our parents always minimized it, always made excuses, always told me to be understanding. Well, I was done understanding. I called my best friend, Rachel. She answered on the first ring. Maya, how'd the interview go? I told her everything. When I finished, Rachel was silent for a long moment. Then, I'm going to kill her. Rachel arrived at my apartment an hour later with Thai food and a bottle of wine. Better wine than the stuff Emma had drugged. We ate on the couch while I showed her all the evidence. The security footage, the police report, the text from Emma. She's genuinely insane, Rachel said, shaking her head. Who does this to their own sister? Someone who spent 32 years being jealous of me for no reason. Rachel squeezed my hand. So what happens now? You got the promotion, right? I did. They're announcing it tomorrow. Then you won. Emma failed. I nodded, but something still bothered me. She doesn't know she failed yet. She thinks I'm devastated. She's waiting for me to call her, crying. Rachel's eyes narrowed. So don't give her the satisfaction. I have a better idea. I pulled out my laptop and opened social media. Emma's accounts were public. I scrolled through her recent posts. Lots of selfies, complaints about her life, vague posts about toxic people. Then I found what I was looking for. A post from yesterday. Sometimes you have to do what's best for yourself, even if others don't understand. New beginnings coming soon. She posted this right before she impersonated me, I said, showing Rachel. She's documenting her own crime. Genius. I screenshotted everything. Then I drafted a post of my own. My post was simple. Thrilled to announce I've been promoted to Senior Marketing Director at Patterson Marketing. Grateful for this opportunity and excited for the future. Hard work pays off. I attached a photo from my actual interview with Richard. We were shaking hands, both smiling. Before I could overthink it, I hit post. Within minutes, comments poured in. Congratulations from colleagues. Celebration emojis from college friends. My mom even commented, so proud of you, sweetie. No mention of what Emma had done. No hint of the drama. Just success. Rachel grinned. Emma's going to lose her mind when she sees this. That's the plan. My phone rang 20 minutes later. Emma. I let it go to voicemail. She called again. And again. 5 times in a row. Then the text started. Maya, call me now. We need to talk. This isn't funny. What did you tell them? I showed Rachel. We both smiled. Should I answer? I asked. Rachel shook her head. Let her sweat. She deserves worse, but this is a start. I blocked Emma's number. Then I poured myself more wine and tried to enjoy my victory. But I couldn't shake the feeling that Emma wouldn't give up this easily. I was right. The next morning, I woke to 17 missed calls from my parents. Both of them. Multiple voicemails. I listened to the first one. My dad's voice was stern. Maya, your mother and I need to speak with you immediately. Emma is very upset. She says you're lying about what happened. Call us back. The second voicemail was my mother, crying. How could you involve the police? Emma made a mistake, but she's family. You're going to ruin her life over this? Call me back right now. I deleted them all. Then I got a text from my older brother, Marcus. He lived in California and usually stayed out of family drama. Mom says you called the cops on Emma? What's going on? I sent him the security footage with a simple message. This is what's going on. He called immediately. Holy shit, Maya. I'm so sorry. Mom and Dad don't believe me. Marcus sighed. They never want to see Emma for who she really is. But I do. I remember when she destroyed your college acceptance letter because she didn't get into the same school. I'd forgotten about that. Emma had ripped up my acceptance to Berkeley. I'd had to call the admissions office and explain. They'd sent another copy, but Emma had already opened it and read it first while I was at work. What are you going to do? Marcus asked. I'm not dropping the charges. She committed a crime. Good. She needs to face consequences. For once. We talked for another hour. Marcus promised to call our parents and back me up. He said he'd explain that what Emma did was illegal and serious. I doubted it would help, but I appreciated the support. At work, Margaret made the promotion announcement. The whole office applauded. Richard shook my hand again, this time in front of everyone. Maya has been an invaluable part of this team, he said. Her creativity, dedication, and integrity make her the perfect choice for senior marketing director. My coworkers took me out for lunch. We celebrated at a nice restaurant downtown. For a few hours, I forgot about Emma. But when I returned to my desk, there was a letter waiting. Hand delivered. No postage. My hand shook as I opened it. Inside was a note in Emma's handwriting. You think you won? This isn't over. You ruined my life. Now I'll ruin yours. Watch your back, sister. I took it straight to Richard. He called security and the police. Officer Martinez returned. He read the note and shook his head. This is a direct threat. We're escalating this case. The police located Emma at our parents' house in Portland. She was arrested that evening on charges of identity fraud, theft, and criminal threatening. My mother called, hysterical. They arrested Emma. The police came to our house. The neighbors saw everything. Good, I said calmly. She committed multiple crimes. Maya, please. She's your sister. Can't you drop the charges? This will destroy her future. She tried to destroy mine first. You got your promotion anyway. No harm done. I felt something inside me snap. No harm done? She drugged me, Mom. She stole from me. She impersonated me with the intention of getting me fired. She threatened me. And you want me to just forgive her? Family forgives, my mother said. That's what family does. Then maybe we're not family anymore. I hung up. Then I turned off my phone. Rachel came over again that night. We didn't talk much. She just sat with me while I processed everything. Are you okay? She finally asked. I don't know. I got everything I wanted. The promotion. Justice. Emma's facing consequences. But I lost my family in the process. Rachel squeezed my shoulder. Maya, they chose Emma over you a long time ago. You're just finally seeing it clearly. She was right. I'd spent my whole life trying to earn my parents' equal treatment. But it never mattered what I did. Emma made bail the next day. Our parents paid it. Of course they did. She immediately started posting on social media. Long rants about betrayal. About sisters who turn on family. About how success changes people. She never mentioned what she'd done. Just positioned herself as the victim. Some people believed her. Old high school friends who didn't know the whole story commented with support. Family should stick together. Blood is thicker than water. I didn't respond. I didn't need to defend myself publicly. The people who mattered knew the truth. But Emma wasn't done. She started calling my workplace, asking for me. Kelly, the receptionist, had been warned. She blocked Emma's numbers. Emma showed up at the building once. Security escorted her out and told her she was banned from the property. She posted about that too. Banned from my own sister's workplace. All because I made one mistake. One mistake. She called identity fraud, theft, and threatening me one mistake. Rachel suggested I get a restraining order. Officer Martinez agreed. The paperwork was filed within a week. Emma was ordered to stay at least 500 feet away from me, my home, and my workplace. She violated it 3 days later. I was grocery shopping when I saw her. She was standing at the end of the produce aisle, staring at me. My heart stopped. Then I pulled out my phone and took a photo. Emma realized what I was doing and ran. But I'd already sent the image to Officer Martinez. "She's in Seattle," I texted. She followed me to the grocery store. Martinez responded immediately, "Stay where you are. Officers on the way." I stood next to the bananas, my hands shaking, until 2 patrol cars arrived. They searched the area, but Emma was gone. "She's escalating," Martinez said. "This is serious stalking behavior now. Do you have somewhere else you can stay?" I nodded. Rachel had already offered her guest room. I packed a bag that night and moved in with Rachel. I didn't tell anyone where I was staying. Not my parents. Not my brother. No one who might accidentally tell Emma. Work implemented new security measures. I had to be escorted to my car every night. Richard even suggested I work from home for a while, but I refused. I wouldn't let Emma drive me into hiding. 2 weeks passed. Emma made no more appearances. I started to think maybe she'd given up. Then I got a call from Marcus. "Maya, Emma's in the hospital." My stomach dropped. "What happened?" "She took pills. Mom found her this morning. They pumped her stomach. She's going to be okay physically." I sat down hard. "She tried to kill herself?" "That's what Mom says." "But Maya." Marcus hesitated. "Mom also said Emma left a note blaming you." "Of course she did. One last manipulation. One final attempt to make me the villain." "Is she really okay?" I asked. "Physically, yes. Mentally, the doctors want to keep her for evaluation." I should have felt relief, or guilt, or something. Instead, I felt numb. "Mom wants you to come to Portland." "To see Emma?" "No." "Maya." "No, Marcus. This is manipulation. Emma's trying to make me feel guilty enough to drop the charges. She almost died." "Did she?" I asked quietly. "Or did she take just enough pills to scare everyone, but not actually hurt herself?" Marcus was silent. "Ask the doctors how many pills she took," I said. "Ask them if it was really a suicide attempt or a cry for attention." He promised to find out. He called back an hour later. "You were right. She took 6 pills. Not nearly enough to be lethal. The doctor said it was clearly meant to be found." I closed my eyes. "She's sick, Marcus, but not in the way Mom thinks." The hospital put Emma on a 72-hour psychiatric hold. My mother called daily, begging me to visit. I refused. Instead, I focused on my new job. As senior marketing director, I had a bigger team and more responsibilities. I threw myself into work. Richard checked on me regularly. "You don't have to pretend everything's fine." "I'm not pretending. Work is the only place where things make sense right now." He understood. He'd been through his own family drama when he came out. Some bridges, he told me, are meant to burn. 3 months passed. Emma was released from the hospital with mandatory therapy. The criminal charges proceeded. Her lawyer tried to use her mental health as a defense, but the evidence was too clear. She pled guilty to identity fraud and theft. The threatening charge was dropped as part of the plea deal. She was sentenced to 2 years probation, community service, and mandatory counseling. No jail time. My mother called it a victory. I called it insufficient, but it was over. Emma was legally barred from contacting me. If she violated probation, she'd go to prison. I moved back to my apartment, changed the locks, installed a security system. Life slowly returned to normal. 6 months after the promotion, I was thriving. My campaigns were successful. My team respected me. I'd even started dating someone Rachel had introduced me to, a software engineer named Chris who knew nothing about my family drama. I was happy, genuinely happy. My parents and I didn't speak. Marcus visited me in Seattle once. We had dinner and didn't mention Emma at all. He told me Mom was in denial about what Emma had done. Dad was just disappointed in both of us for not working it out. "They'll never change," Marcus said. "You know that, right?" "I know." "Are you okay with that?" I thought about it. I'm okay with choosing myself. Finally, one day, Richard called me into his office. I thought it was about a client meeting. Instead, he handed me an envelope. "What's this?" "Open it." Inside was a letter from the CEO of Patterson Marketing's parent company. They were expanding. They wanted to open a new office in San Francisco, and they wanted me to run it. It's a promotion, Richard said, smiling. Again, VP of Marketing for the West Coast Division. I stared at the letter. This is huge. You've earned it. Every bit of it. Despite everything your sister tried to do. I accepted the position. The move to San Francisco would happen in 3 months. I told Chris. He was supportive. Said he could work remotely from anywhere. I told Rachel. She cried but promised to visit all the time. I told Marcus. He was proud. I didn't tell my parents. They'd hear about it through the family grapevine, eventually. As I packed up my Seattle apartment, I found the note Emma had left me. The threatening one. I kept it as evidence, but the case was closed now. I held it for a long moment. Then I tore it into tiny pieces and threw it away. Emma had tried to ruin me. She'd used every weapon she had. Our identical faces, our shared history, our parents' favoritism. But she'd failed. Because while Emma spent her energy tearing others down, I'd spent mine building myself up. 2 weeks before the move, I was having coffee with Rachel when my phone buzzed. An email from an unfamiliar address. The subject line, I'm sorry. I opened it. It was from Emma. Maya, I know I'm not supposed to contact you, but my therapist says I need to make amends. What I did was unforgivable. I was jealous. I've always been jealous. You were always the good one. The successful one. The one everyone actually liked. I wanted to hurt you the way I've been hurting my whole life. I know sorry isn't enough, but I am sorry. I hope someday you can forgive me. Emma. I read the email 3 times. Rachel read it over my shoulder. What are you going to do? She asked. Nothing. You're not going to respond? I shook my head. She's not supposed to contact me. This violates the restraining order. But I'm not going to report it. Why not? Because responding gives her what she wants, my attention. The best thing I can do is nothing. I deleted the email. Blocked the address. Emma wanted forgiveness. But forgiveness wasn't something she'd earned. Maybe someday, years from now, I'd feel differently. But today I felt nothing. The day I left for San Francisco, Marcus helped me load the moving truck. We worked in comfortable silence, packing boxes and furniture. When everything was loaded, he hugged me. I'm proud of you, little sister. For getting out. For choosing yourself. Thanks for always believing me. Always will. I drove away from Seattle with Chris in the passenger seat. In the rearview mirror, the city grew smaller. I was leaving behind everything, the good and the bad. Emma had tried to steal my identity, my career, my future. Instead, she'd given me clarity. I knew exactly who I was now, and I knew what I deserved. San Francisco welcomed me with fog and possibility. The new office was in a gleaming high-rise with views of the bay. My team was young and eager. The parent company gave me complete creative control. I was building something entirely my own. 3 months into the job, I got a call from Officer Martinez in Seattle. Ms. Torres, I wanted to let you know your sister violated probation. She failed multiple drug tests and stopped attending therapy. What happens now? She'll serve the remainder of her sentence in jail. 6 months. I thanked him and hung up. I waited to feel something, satisfaction, sadness, vindication. Instead, I felt free. Emma would always be my twin. We'd always share DNA. But I didn't have to share my life with her anymore. That evening, Chris and I walked along the waterfront. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and pink. You seem different, he said. Lighter somehow. I smiled. I am. I finally let go of something I should have released years ago. Your sister? The idea that family has to mean accepting abuse. That blood automatically deserves loyalty. He squeezed my hand. You're pretty wise, you know that? I laughed. I learned the hard way. That night, I stood on my apartment balcony looking out at the city. My city now. Emma had pretended to be me to ruin my life. But she'd only succeeded in showing me exactly who I was. Someone who could survive betrayal and come out stronger. Someone who wouldn't back down when challenged. Someone who knew her worth. My twin had tried to steal my identity. Instead, she'd helped me claim it completely. And for that, I was almost grateful. Almost.